So I've had a lot of people asking me about Masters of the Universe because we went and saw it on Thursday evening. And I got to tell you, I'm not a movie review guy. I was an English major, so I've done a lot of reviewing of books, but I've never reviewed a movie on here. And I'm just going to tell you what I think. And to start off, I am a product of the 80s, born in the 70s. I remember He-Man vividly, being in third grade, always watching the cartoon before I'd go to school. I absolutely loved it. Was it cheesy? Absolutely. Did I think it was cheesy back then? No, no. I thought it was the real deal. So if you go into this knowing that it's going to be a comedy and it's going to have a lot of silly stuff going on with it, I think you're going to like it a lot more. I'm a huge fan of the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy. I like the dark, brooding Zack Snyder Man of Steel. Like, I liked that. This one, I don't think it would have worked as well. So I do like that they kind of played to the cheese a little bit of the 80s. I thought it was going to be annoying at first, but I actually really liked it. When I first saw the He-Man trailer and it said like he, him, a lot of people right off the bat were like, oh my gosh, it's going to be another woke movie. And actually, I took that as kind of like that's a nod to He-Man. So it didn't bother me. And I was really worried about that too, because they've taken so many of these great movies or these great IPs and just totally, they've destroyed them with all this woke agenda and blah, blah, blah. This one sort of turns it on its head. I'm going to try to keep this spoiler free. It starts off with Adam as a little boy in Eternia. Things go sideways with Skeletor. They got to get him out of there. He ends up on Earth. I think that's all pretty self-explanatory. And once he gets to Earth, it's just sort of like he kind of hates it here. He wants to get back to Eternia. He's at the workplace, and I'm like, oh, here we go. Like, the boss is coming in, and she starts talking about feelings and all this. I'm like, oh, this is going to be terrible. But she was actually really funny. So I really enjoyed her character in there as well, and how they kind of played that back and forth, talking about like, toxic masculinity. And you could see it was totally just playing it. So I was like, I really like how they did that. And I wasn't turned off at all. Like I have been with the Star Wars movies and what Marvel's been doing. I'm over all that stuff. This was a breath of fresh air. So obviously he finally gets to Eternia, and that's when we start meeting all the characters. So let's kind of break down, and I'll start with the villains, which ones I liked. And I liked them all, to be honest with you. Beastman was mostly CGI. He was pretty much what you would expect from the cartoon. The relationship between Beastman and Skeletor is pretty similar to what it was in the cartoons. Some of the other guys that we see, there's Triclops. I mean, he's basically just a sniper. He just sits back and sees everything with his eye. Goatman is just a big brute. I mean, it's played by that half Thor Bjornsson. He was the one that played the Mountain in Game of Thrones, so he's just this big, huge guy, and he doesn't really do too much. I mean, he just kind of laughs at Skeletor's jokes and is a big, strong guy. But the villain that I like the most, and I know the one that my daughter liked the most, was Trapjaw. And we get to see him fight Man-at-Arms, and he has a whole bunch of fights. And Trapjaw, in my opinion, other than Skeletor, and I'll get to him in a second, Trapjaw was definitely my favorite villain. His hand, it would just change to laser, to hook, to fit, all this crazy stuff. It was pretty cool what they did with Trapjaw. So he was definitely next to Skeletor, my favorite villain. And Skeletor was, I don't know much about Jared Leto. I'm not like a Jared Leto fan. I mean, the first time I remember seeing him was in Fight Club when he gets beat up really bad by Edward Norton's character. So I'm not like, I don't have an opinion on the dude one way or the other. Some people are saying he's toxic, whatever it is. You don't see his face. And I think he played Skeletor great. So I was like, you have the power, but you're too afraid to use it. I've seen some people like it's like a mix between Gandalf and Bane from The Dark Knight. It's kind of where his voice is with this. But whatever people think of Jared Leto, the dude was having a great time playing Skeletor, and the way he would just do his evil laughs and still maintain being a threatening villain, I thought was pretty good. So I think they did a great job with the villains. As far as the heroes go, Teela was good. She shows up and she immediately is, her and he, again, I'm trying not to spoil anything, but I will tell you that I'm thinking to myself, here we go again. Is it another Rey Skywalker or whatever her name is, Palpatine? Is it going to be another girl boss situation? I'm just, again, not really. No. I mean, she does what she needs to do, and then He-Man becomes He-Man. So I thought that was pretty well done. I liked Man-at-Arms. I didn't love him. I thought he was fatherly, but I just thought it could have been better. And I love Idris Elba. I think he's a great actor. I just couldn't, I don't know. There was something about him. And I get that, he failed and becomes a drunk and all that. I'm cool with all that. It's just that, I don't know. I just would have thought there would have been a little bit more development in his relationship with Adam and Teela. I don't know. There was just something about it where I was just like, I couldn't put my finger on it, but I didn't love him as much as I thought I would. But he's still good, but it wasn't like I was expecting him to be like, that's my favorite character. And he really wasn't. He was just like, I like him, but I don't love him. Cringer at the beginning when he shows up, Ted, the movie Ted with little teddy bear. That's who Cringer reminds me of at the very beginning of the movie. And then moving on forward, Cringer's fine. I mean, he's pretty much what you expect him to be. They kept his tone from the original cartoon is very similar to the Cringer tone that we're getting in the movie, which I thought was really good. His voice was fine. I mean, it wouldn't have worked if they'd have went totally with the everything like this, Adam. That probably wouldn't have worked. So they did a really good job with Cringer, I thought as well. And at the beginning, I'm not going to lie, at the beginning where the MGM lion roars, it was Cringer. I was like, all right, I thought that was pretty cool. And then the other minor characters put together, like Ram Man was fine. I mean, his powers looked like that's what I'd hope they look like. Mechanic was cool. You probably saw his fights in the trailer, the way his neck whips around. That was cool. But out of the three of them, Fisto, that was the one that definitely got the gayest references. They kept throwing gay stuff at him. And he's like, and you're Fisto. And everyone's kind of looking around. And by the end, he's like, yeah, I fist people. It was just the little gay sexual innuendos on that. Again, I'm so over all the interjected woke nonsense, and this just didn't feel like this. It felt like they were playing it up. So I thought that was in a funny way, not in like a woke, we need to make this, whatever, LGBTQIA plus. It wasn't like that at all. It was just kind of funny how they said that. And speaking of gay, there's one like monologue that Skeletor gives, and I remember looking over at my wife and I was like, this dude has got the hots for He-Man. Like he's like describing He-Man's glistening muscles and his loincloth and all this, and I was like, okay. But again, if you go back and watch the original 80s cartoon, I mean, tell me that's not pretty gay. He's got the perfectly manicured blonde hair, and he's got the pink shirt on, and his best friend is a kitty cat, and fabulous secret powers were revealed to him, and then he puts on the loincloth. I mean, there's a lot of gay references that I didn't pick up as a little kid going back to He-Man, so it's kind of like they played it like that. They didn't make it like flat out gay, but what they did make it is they made little playful hints at, yeah, the original He-Man, if you go back and watch it now that you're grown up, you'd be like, okay. So that's kind of how they played that. And I thought that was pretty cool. And then He-Man. I'd never heard of this actor before, but I thought Nicholas Gazeltine, I thought he was great as far as the Adam character. Like his tone was the same as it was in the cartoon, where he's just kind of the bumbling, not stupid, but just kind of bumbling, really unsure of himself Adam. And then he becomes He-Man. And that was just, for the first time in his life, gets these powers. And that was pretty cool. And then when he makes his last transformation, really becomes He-Man, and him and Skeletor fight, that part was my favorite part of the movie. The way they did it, I mean, it looked like it was right out of a comic book. I was like, this is all. That fight scene was awesome. That was by far my favorite fight scene in the movie. That one, and then Man-at-Arms fights Trapjaw. And those are my two favorite fights, but those were pretty cool as well. And getting Cringer into the mix at the end as well. It was just such a great homage to the original cartoon while taking it and making it modern day without making it for a modern audience. I thought it was really well done. And then the post-credit scenes, so there's three of them. The first one, my daughter went crazy. The second one, she went bananas. And then the third one is basically setting up the sequel. So that's all I'll say about that. I don't want to ruin it for you. Who's going to show up? I think if you're a fan, you probably have an idea who's going to show up. At least one of them who's going to show up. But it was all three post-credits. So you're going to have two right towards the front, and then they show the credits. And then after the credits are over, then there's one more scene. So definitely stay until all the credits have rolled. So again, I'm not a movie critic. I'm just a guy that went and watched it, that loved the cartoon from the 80s. And I'm going to tell you, I thought it was great. My wife, who's not a fan either way, was like, that was a lot of fun. And my daughter, who's 5 years old, went bananas. So if you've got little kids, there's a couple times where they'll say, like, I heard a shit, and then I heard some ass, like, he's going to beat your ass and I'm going to beat his ass. That was pretty much the extent of the swearing. There were no F-bombs, no GDs, no gratuitous like kissing or sex scenes or anything like that. The violence wasn't blood. When people are getting drilled, it wasn't blood going everywhere. So again, I took my 5-year-old to it. That was probably right where it needed to be as far as everything goes. And again, they're probably not going to get the gay innuendo jokes. Overall, from me, 2 really big thumbs up, breath of fresh air. That's why I'm going to recommend that you go see Masters of the Universe. Thanks for watching.